Proud of our guys over the last few days, the last 18 innings. I feel like they've really competed. Proud of Tom Mullen. That's a good start by him, quality start, one that we needed midweek, especially when you play 18 innings and then you got a day off and you go right into conference in 27 innings on the weekend. So, we came out early and set the tone offensively, and it was a good win by our guys.
What was Mullen's reaction yesterday when you told him he was getting the start?
He was pumped. He was excited, which was good because I know it sounds silly. You'd think anybody you're going to say gets a start, and some guys react a little bit differently. He was excited about it. And actually, we were kind of at a pitch limit with him a little bit. And we were getting close to it, and it was after the fourth, and so Coach Anderson went to him and asked him, said, "Hey, you're getting close." He's like, "Hey, I want one more inning. I got one more inning. I'll get 3 outs for you," and he did.
Is that the role you see for him moving forward as a starter, or you think they'll still use him in the bullpen a little bit?
You know what it is it shows that he can do it. Mm-hmm. So if somebody gets hurt or down the road, we need somebody to start or next year or whatever. I mean, he showed he can do it, and it's just I'm proud of him because it's part of the whole process, the learning process. Even though he pitched really well and had a great start, his first pitch strike percentage was not very good. And last year, he'd throw ball one, maybe ball two, and he'd still hold on to those pitches mentally and not be able to commit to the next pitch. And today he did a great job of what we call flushing that and getting guys to start their bats and have them put them in play. So that's a big step for a guy mentally to do that, and he deserved that win.
Tom, can you talk a little bit about Nick Graham behind the plate? He's a young guy, freshman, but what do you think about the game he calls?
Well, we actually call the game from the dugout, but I'll tell you what he's learning, and as a freshman, he could probably call a game. I mean, he does a good job of thinking along with Coach Anderson and what he's doing. I said this before, it's hard to be a freshman at Division I level and learn how the speed of the game and get acclimated and try to impress your coaches and try to impress your teammates. But it's really hard to be a freshman catcher at the Division I level. And, you got to learn that, hey, even though I want to do well offensively, when I'm out there, what that guy on the mound's doing is more important than what I do. So I'm proud of him. He's doing a good job, and he's showing why he can play at this level.
How important are these midweek games for preparing for the weekend, the Big Ten and everything?
Well, they're huge. They just asked me upstairs if how do we view these games. These are just as important to us as the conference games. They are, because at the end of the day, they all go towards our record. These games, as we move this program forward, these games go into whether or not you're good enough to play in a regional, and so they're important. And again, like a perfect example is Nick Riotto. Has had 2 really good games. And if we didn't look at these games as important and just as important as conference, then, like right now, I'm really thinking that we probably need to have him in the lineup somehow Friday, But if we didn't look at these games the exact same way, then, that wouldn't be a consideration.
Guys like Riotto and Kendall coming off the bench all year seem to come up with clutch hits every time you give them the opportunity. Is that something that they're going to continue that role off the bench, or are they going to see more time out in the line?
Well, I mean, again, they're definitely making me think about it. But the reason why those guys are having success is because they continue to work hard. They bring great energy. Both those guys are as good a guys on the bench and in the dugout when they're not playing as when they are playing. And so even though they haven't physically been in some games, mentally they've played as many games as everybody else because they're in it every pitch.
When you guys exploded for those runs in the first 2 innings, is that something you guys have been working on and preaching, as the coach has been preaching lately, is getting on top of teams early? Because you guys seem to always have that tendency to come from behind.
I was preaching that 3 months ago too, so I was hoping we'd score a lot more earlier in the year. Now, you know what I think really it has a lot to do with the mindset of our guys. Just, I used the example yesterday of, hey, when you got to think of it as a fight. When they ring the bell, you got to come out swinging. You can't just kind of sit back. And we've done that the last 2 days. So they're doing a good job.
Any questions from the class?
Just going off of what Trevor just said, was there anything you were telling them like during the first 2 innings because you guys were playing so well? Was there anything in the dugout that you were saying to guys?
No, you know what? We talked a lot about it beforehand. Just, we really want them to see the ball and slow things down. And it really what it is it's trying not to do too much. It's trying not to take too big a swing. It's trying not to, the joke, or not the joke, but the saying that we have is like, hey, we're trying not to hit the 5-run home run. Just put a good swing on the ball. Have a plan. Stay with your plan. Stay with your approach. And that's what they were doing.
What made you call that double steal in the first inning?
Well, I mean, we just felt like what they were giving us, we could take advantage of it. It was their guy was, our guys on base do a good job of getting jumps, and we wanted to put some pressure on the defense and the catcher and the pitcher.
What does it do for the pitcher's mentality when he does take the mound? Because you guys have had a lead after the first inning over the past 2 games. So what does that do for your pitcher's mentality going into the game with the lead?
Well, I'll tell you, I think really his ability to go out the first inning and shut them down, and put a 0 up on the board and getting us right into the dugout right away to then go and hit. I think that really set the tone for the night, him doing that. But then, us getting a 5 spot in the first inning, then what it does is it allows him as a pitcher to go, okay, hey, I've got a big ballpark here because the ball doesn't carry great here. I've got a 5-0 lead. Okay, I don't have to pitch perfect. I don't have to overpower guys. I can pitch contact and start bats.